Hello and welcome to today's edition of Fintech News, January 14th, 2020. I'm your host, Nicolas Bellevaux.
I'm Pascal Van Dienendal.
And today we're going to cover what's going on in Fintech. We're going to kick it off with Visa acquiring Plaid for $5.3 billion. We're going to speak about France's new $5 billion startup fund, as well as Lendesk's new app called Lendesk Spotlight. So let's start with the biggest news so far this week, which is Plaid getting acquired by Visa for $5.3 billion. So if you're not familiar with Plaid, they're an API similar to data aggregator Flinks here in Canada, which, by the way, news coming out from them, just hired their new CRO. But Visa's intention behind acquiring Plaid is really to enhance their role as link with fintech developers, to expand their total addressable market, and to accelerate their long-term revenue strategy, because while Plaid being one of the main go-to APIs for fintech developers in the United States, they have over 200 million user accounts connected to Plaid right now. And for those not familiar with how it works, essentially when using a fintech app that needs to access your banking information, financial institution, or other sensitive data, well, they go and scrape that information. They have access to over 11,000 financial accounts and other data sources to get things like your balance, your assets, your identity, your income, transaction data, etc. So you're giving them your information, your account authentication, and your authorization for them to go scrape that data and then send it to a fintech app, to which then is offering you a better service or a product.
Yes, it's quite used a lot. It's used a lot by big fintech startups like Betterment, Wenmo, who is very popular, who is doing micropayment, and among millennials is very popular because when you do a micropayment to a friend, you just comment and you share on your social media. And they are relying on this technology, and it's very interesting that Visa is investing in this company.
Well, they were already an investor previously, but now actually acquiring it for this sum is quite an astronomical sum. But it goes to show the tendency, and this year is going to be a big year for it, but for open banking. Since we're not there yet, Plaid is in a way an enabler for it to be able to access that sensitive information. But it's going to be interesting to see with open banking how their role in all of this. But before that, Visa wants to really set their flag and show that they're a market leader in this front.
Definitely. Another news from France. Emmanuel Macron announced the creation of a fund of 5 billion for investment in the late stage startup. Why? There is a couple of things. France are very good on Series A and B, early stage investment, but on the late stage investment we are not so good. A lot of companies are struggling to get some capital, and they're going to internationally in the United States, Asia to find this fund. And Emmanuel Macron wants to change that because he wants the French startup to stay in France, and he wants also for these partners that he will gather like Caisse des Dépôts, AXA, Generali, to invest in the French economy, and there will be a huge impact on all startup economy.
Of course. And
especially in fintech. And
right.
Why in fintech? Because in European Union, UK will probably leave European Union, and France, Netherlands and Germany are competing to welcome this company based out of UK who want to be in the European market.
Well, because London's known as a huge fintech hub, in the EU, but around the world as well. So all these banking services that are available there, France would be able to, in some way, leverage that.
Yes, and we have also another issue. We don't have so much unicorn. We have great product, but we are struggling in France. France is struggling to have unicorn startup, and you want to facilitate this 100 million cap to the startup, and to have more company, to push more company to go publicly. And once they go publicly, to have fund like Caisse des Dépôts and others, we will invest directly to this company.
Right. So just to be specific, it's not just for fintech, this fund. It's for La French Tech, as they call it in general, but could definitely benefit our fintech friends over in France. And then lastly today, we want to talk about Lendesk, which it launches a new app. Lendesk is a company out here in Vancouver, which launched Lendesk Spotlight. So they're trying to make it easier for mortgage brokers to access policies and rate information of these mortgages in real time. So it's an iOS app right now. They got it after acquiring a startup. And so mortgage brokers have access to now over 3,500 policies where they're being updated in real time, essentially to offer a better service to their clients, which are Canadian homebuyers. So this is going in line with a startup that we spoke about last week, I believe, called Nesto, which I personally tried out. It's an aggregator where instead of dealing with one mortgage broker specifically, it's a digital mortgage broker, and they have their own technology to find the apps and their own relations with lenders to be able to do that matching. They're the digital mortgage broker essentially, but here this technology is powering existing mortgage brokers to become digital mortgage brokers and adapt to the new realities. But once again, the mortgage industry is going to be really interesting to see how it evolves with open banking, because as my application went with Nesto, I had to dig for my employment contract, my previous pay stubs, my T1s for the last 2 years, etc. But with open banking, digital mortgage broker could easily access that information directly, scraping it from my bank account, or even better, accessing the back end with the correct authentication and authorization to be able to get accurate information, which simplifies the mortgage process for myself, but all parties involved, to make sure they have the correct information. So it's a step that's really interesting to see how the mortgage industry is adapting to new technological change. But it's definitely going to be one of the biggest, one of the most interesting to follow with new fintechs, because mortgages are one of the biggest financial tools people will ever deal with. A home is generally the most expensive thing a Canadian will buy.
And it's a project of life. People want to buy a property, either a condo or either a house.
Correct.
And it's very interesting because what I like is we have a lot of different solutions for mortgage now. Some people may not be confident to go to websites like Nesto to put everything online and to have a call with a mortgage broker. And they want to use a broker, but they want to have the better rate, the better solution, and know the broker have this tool available thanks to the technology. And I really like that because we don't exclude one kind of population. Everyone from millennial to my grandparent.
For sure. Yeah, I think that's a great point. It's making it inclusive, so you have different options when it comes time to look for a broker. You could go all digital, or you could go half digital with somebody in real life having that human experience, which we often mention still very important in this day. But they're at least on the back end digitally enabled to be able to offer the best service possible. So that's a wrap for today's edition of FinTech News. Thank you so much for tuning in, and you could catch the next English edition next week, Tuesday at 3:30 p.m.
Et dans quelques minutes, l'édition en français. Bonne journée.
Merci, à bientôt.